Dun 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 shh dun 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 dun. It's back on. It's back on. Wait, gotta close this. I'm donning the hat once again. Actually, once again for the second time because last night I spent an hour and a half recording this video and I recorded it muted. I lost a whole hour and a half of my life, but that's okay because this is take 2. And we're gonna crush it with the interrogation lighting. I set it up so this could be a little bit more visible. The One Piece Egghead set just recently got announced and I am so hyped to show everybody. Once again, as always, I am Chris Metzner. I am the designer, concept artist for the One Piece Pops, and I am here to take you through a little journey. Last time I donned this hat, it was for one of my very first YouTube videos, Funko designer breakdown videos, which was basically me going through the entire library of all the past One Piece sets and explaining the highs and lows and explaining my journey of my guilt behind not knowing anything about One Piece going into it, and for my job, for the love of the game, and because I just genuinely wanted to make One Piece better, because I am just gifted with this honor, this truly humongous opportunity to be the designer of the One Piece Pops of all things. Basically, the short of it is I watched the entire show, I'm caught all the way up, and now I am just obsessed. I am obsessed with One Piece. You could see in the background, wait. Right here, this is for a future video. Future video right here, dude. All of the Pop Mart ships. We're gonna give people the credit they deserve for some of these amazing sculpts. Shout out to Sarah G, doing all the colors for all of these. Shout out packaging artists, shout out Glams, shout out Renders, shout out Lifestyle Creations, which I believe was Josh, who did that amazing chopper lifestyle that was on the announcement post on Funko's socials. But here we are today, and I have been loving Egghead so much. I can't even explain to you how much fun I've been having watching One Piece caught up with everybody else. Experiencing the anime as it's coming out, just something that I've dreamed and something that I've wanted to do for like 2 years. I'm in on all of the internet talk as soon as the new episodes come out. The most recent 2 episodes, just chef's kiss. So good. We're starting with the one and only Vegapunk. You know, you get his name dropped a couple times throughout the series, but it's not until Egghead where you really meet this man and you get to know him, his love for science, and his love for genuine creativity and innovation. So let's get a closer look. He's got the glossiness on his little apple head. Look at that. It looks like you could take a real bite. The tongue just absolutely flying through the air. Shout out to my man Aiden for sculpting this bad boy. Got a little nice light on him so you can see him in his full glory. And here is a little spinny spin. Little spinny spin for our guy. Something with Vegapunk is trying to capture his style in Pop. It was a little challenging because he's got a lot of characteristics in his face that I feel like really needed to be added that wouldn't just look right if we just did the classic square head. So as you can see, what we did here was we had his eyebrows pushing up a flap of his skin. He's got the crow's feet, the cheeks, the double chinage happening. All shout out to my man Aiden, just completely capturing Vegapunk in his wacky style. So good and stands out so much in the One Piece world, which is pretty interesting because in a world like One Piece where everybody has a unique design, Vegapunk almost just feels like he doesn't belong. He doesn't belong in the world really. He feels like he's more of a like Looney Tunes looking character. But you got some Looney Tunes vibes, especially when Luffy hits Gear 5. Vegapunk, you love him, looking great. On to the next one. My man Ernie descended from the clouds, ready to sculpt Rayleigh, and completely delivered, bro. Let's take a look at the comment first. You got Rayleigh here with his smug smile. Let's see if I could do it. Is it like the same smile, basically? Hand gripping on his sword, ready to unsheath. Do a little spinny spin for our guy. Look at that hair. Just as beautiful as a running meadow, this chase. We just be cooking on the chases. Every time we do a really epic chase like this, where it is a full deco chains along with a sculpt change, drawing the sword, addition of effects, the red hockey all around. I just love when we go all the way with these chases. I think it just adds so much to the worth of chasing a thing. Here, let's see if I could get my big goofy hands out of the way so you can just enjoy. So the point of this chase is to capture the shadow casting across him as he is drawing his sword out, creating this massive burst of hockey that is just surrounding him. And you can see he has those glasses just fully covered in white. Wait a second, I have a little something that I want to. So here is the frame. Here is the frame for Mr. Rayleigh. You can see I've drawn a lot of inspiration, and you can see we captured those spooky white glasses lenses, and that was basically the point for this entire chase, was the one frame difference of Mr. Rayleigh holding on to his sword, and then the very next frame pulling it and creating that epic impact frame I just showed you seconds ago. Just so you know, he's got the prints on the back. It's not just on the front, there's some goodness going on in the back. So Sarah was cooking, you can see prints on the cape, loving the cape prints. But most of all, here he is. One more time for the common, just looks so good, just feels so Rayleigh. So Edison is one of those little edge cases where it's not quite a pop, but not quite on model. And he just meets that perfect in-between. Wait, shout out Colin, he's the one that sculpted this, and that just captures that really, really cute, sort of squished, fun-sized version of a character that you'll get with pops. For example, take Godzilla, where the style of pop is kind of mixed into it, but still it's more on the on-model side of things too. They just capture that in-between feeling that just always comes out so good. So you can see we just completely dropped the whole pop head shape for Edison here, and also added prints into his eyes, which is a pretty rare thing. It's typically encouraged to leave nothing inside of the eye, but sometimes we get away with it. All depends on who makes the call, but with this guy, I think the closed eyes just looks so good. Adds so much expression. In the back, he is blasting off with his little jetpack. So you crushed it, Colin. Sarah crushed it on the colors. Look at how freaking cute he is. Look at this little skeleton man inside of his fishbowl globe. Gorgeous. Just simply gorgeous. Corwin. Shout out Corwin. Sculptor. Killed it. Absolutely nailed it. He freaking brooked, dude. So I just want to say, something I love about Brook is you can't really see it. Let's see. Maybe you'll see it in front of my white shirt. There's just an ever so slight bit of space in between his fishbowl globe and his awesome afro. And we kept that space going all the way around. As it is in the anime, Brook has just a little bit of space in between his afro and his globe. I always just love when we do things like this with giant pop heads. We just stick them inside of a hat and they fully fit inside. And especially for someone like Brook with his crazy afro, we were able to fit it all in there, maybe size down his head just ever so slightly. Afro is probably much bigger compared to other Brooks. I don't have any other Brooks on me to compare, but here he is, looking great. Another hard thing for me to capture was his open mouth and landing actually right in the middle of his two little orange rod things that are part of his football helmet-esque globe helmet thing. But I think we nailed it pretty much. You'll see every time he has his mouth open, they kind of land right in between where his open mouth is. I almost said Scorwin, but Corwin scored with the absolute body language of my man Brook. Look, him just thrusting those hips with all of that personality, bro. Let's do one more beautiful turnaround for my guy. Just looks so good. He's got his umbrella sword here going on. Not much action in Egghead, I will say. He isn't very prominent in Egghead, but his outfit is pretty dope, so we love it. We're coming down to it. We're coming down to the last four, and at the very end of the video, I'm gonna be able to talk about my little precious, amazing piece right here that I am so excited about and cannot begin to explain how freaking hyped I am about this. Nico Robin striking the most cutest little pose in her egghead fit, and you can move her head slightly. You can kind of move her head. You can have her looking this way. You can have her looking this way. That's a pretty good angle with the head looking that way. She just like doesn't care at all. I did like a mixture of different poses when I was coming up with this one. Just the hand on the hip and the other hand out with the little foot kicked up here. Like it's all of those little details that just add so much to a standard pop that is, you know, just you could just picture a pop just like standing there with their arms down. But there's 100 million ways to make a very idle looking stance have a little bit of intrigue to the eye. If it is just standing there with the arms down, unless it is like an actual story driven reason that they should be standing there with their arms down to their side, just like looking very boring, like some of the Gokus. Like I feel like Goku sometimes like kind of lends himself to just having a really aura heavy pose, but I will always try to add a little bit of flair into these standard pops to at least make the pose interesting. One more last glam shot for Miss Nico Robin here. Shout out to Brandon for sculpting this absolute greatness. You got all the little egghead identifying callouts here on her outfit. Just slaying. Snatched, as they say on the internet, right? Am I using that right? I hope I'm using that right. And now I would just love to talk about this little anxious mess of a character right here, Chopper, looking so scared. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love how we captured his expression in this one. And I just want to say, I fought for these tears. I fought for these tears. I wanted him to be crying. He is crying in the scene. So here he is, with the visor and the tears under them, just squished right in between that visor. And the combination of that with the eyebrows just completely swirling down and up, and then the lines around his eyes, and then the open mouth, it just all comes together in a cacophony of greatness, just completely portraying my man's expression perfectly. And I just love when we can just push and push the expression in a pop figure, because it's a little challenging. You know, you're working with the black eyes and an eyebrow, and sometimes not even a mouth. So it's hard to like capture the expression, but I feel with Chopper and Edison, those both just like the expression, it just completely gives the pop figure personality. Hey, listen, I love a no mouth as much as the next one, and it really works for the most time, but sometimes you just gotta add the mouth to really push the anxiety that my man is feeling as he is blasting off into the sky. And as I say blasting off, I just wanna move into this wonderful, wonderful bass that my man Colin captured perfectly. Look at those little swirls inside of those clouds. And I'll tell you right now, I wanted my man Chopper to be captured on a little blast off base coming out of his boots. That little arc in his back and in the base itself. Look at that. It's like he is taking off and going forward. Forward and upwards and taking off. Tell me this, do you think it has stability issues? Let's check. It doesn't need a base. It doesn't need a base. The base is on his boots. Even the metallic little ring on his antler. You know, we didn't have to go that far, but we did. So between him blasting off and getting the smoky base under him, the tears and his visor both translucent, and his crazy expression, I just love this Chopper pop so much. And you know what it does? You know what's great? You know what's great about it? It's from the same scene as Luffy. So let's bust Luffy out and put them next to each other. Just look at our happy king, you guys. Just look at our freaking happy little king. I can't even tell you how excited I am about his smile. We got his smile. We got the smile. Everybody, we got the smile. Job's done. Control. We added the smile on the Luffy finally. Let's roll out. He is so happy-go-lucky, carefree. His hands just propping his head up. His hat just snuck right in between the two burst clouds that are surrounding him and framing him so beautifully. Look at these boots just blasting up into the air. I just wanted to give Luffy that extra bit of excitement in his base in that scene where he's testing his jet boots once they first get their fits. I just love the juxtaposition in the expressions here. You know, Chopper is freaking out and having a really bad time, all while Luffy is just having the best time of his life. And I feel like that speaks to just the entire show in general. They're based off the same scene. I could show you here. Let me pull up. I just thought this was a great way to capture base form Egghead Luffy. Just his genuine DGAF vibe is my favorite thing about Luffy, and I feel like this is just the best way you can represent him in the Egghead arc. Because my guy is pretty much Gear 5 for most of the time, and if we wanted to get Egghead Luffy just in his red fit, I figured the best way to do it would not be in a fighting pose. It would just be him loving life as much as he does. As much as I do. Loving life. Let's give it just one more little turnaround, man. I love how Elizabeth, she was the sculptor, absolutely crushed it, total legend. I just love the little spikes coming up. Just something about little spikes coming up on hair. I don't know why. I don't know if there's much else to say. Love my king, love my goat. It's time for the final one. You. Oh my god, you guys. Every time I'm assigned a Pop Premium, I am going to fill every single inch of that box. Let me just call out the little flight stand hidden behind his leg. You can't even see it. He's got his leg propped up and you can't even see behind it. Well, I mean, unless you're gonna hit it by this angle, you get the freaking swords, you get this, you get the streaking red effect, you get the green energy just blasting backwards. You know I'm a rock guy, guys. We've been over this. We've been over this plenty of times. I love me my rocks, but you got the freaking hockey wrapped around his green streaky powers coming off. Look at the way that streak just wraps around his head. And I want you to pay close attention to these little translucent bubbles that are on top of the rocks, on top of Zoro's leg right there, up here on the top here, just exactly like lava. So when I was assigned to this, it was a challenge because we had done it once in a pop moment, and I wasn't any part of that pop moment as far as the design and the posing went. I helped a little bit with the effects, so that giant like green slash that's in front of him. I just made suggestions basically for that moment. But this one, I really wanted to just freaking commit to the scene. So I watched the scene like 100 times, and the absolute best part of the scene, we can all agree. We will all come to the same consensus on this. It is just really effing cool when Zoro is jumping from rock to rock to get up to King as they are just about to make their clash. And the animation is just looking so buttery, so exciting, and it was just such a hype moment for Zoro. And I was like, well, shit, how do I capture this insanely hype moment in a pop figure? When I saw that it was a pop premium, I was like, okay, we got to make this work. And so there was a bunch of different variations of how I wanted the lava. At first, it was like streaks going by him, and it just didn't prove to, number one, fit in the box, and number one, look very visually exciting, because the streaks are like, if they're going past him, I mean, unless you were posing him at this angle, the streaks would probably look good, but from the front, it's just, you don't really see him that much because they're just little points. You just see little points everywhere. And we want to make this thing look good from the front view, as most pops are designed. We have him coming at you from the front view with a massive splash of lava in the background in all of these rocks just in front of it. So that's what's going on up here with the rocks on his head. It's just basically supposed to be telling you that he's just jumping from one boulder to another as boulders are flying by him. And just look at all this translucent action going on, you guys. Just the greens, the reds, the oranges. This is just like, has got to be one of my all-time favorite things I've designed so far. And I'm just always telling you guys, with this, with the Mitsuri I showed you before, or the Aki moment, or the Chainsaw Man, I just want to make things as electric as possible, as dynamic and immersive as possible, to the scene, paying homage to the scene when it comes to a moment like this in the show, where like even the animators know it's like such a hype moment that they just pull out all the stops and the freaking animation just goes insane. So being able to have the opportunity to capture him in a much bigger composition, I am so grateful for, because I feel like we are able to really deliver on this scene thanks to that. And here is one more turnaround of my man Zoro, who happened to get lost in Egghead while he was fighting King. I just freaking love this hockey just wrapping around the swords, you guys. Did I mention this was Carla? Did I mention Carla cooked? And we will set him back. Thank you so much to Funko for letting me design him in a Pop Premium form factor. I just freaking love being assigned Pop Premiums. Is my favorite thing, and I want to prove that I love the show as much as you. Have I proved it enough, you guys? Have I freaking showed you enough that I like this show? I have the hat, I have the shirt, I have the set, I have the boats in the background, I have this little standee. I literally got every single thing One Piece for my birthday. My birthday just happened on the 10th, and everybody at work got me presents that were One Piece. My wife got me a bunch of One Piece cards. She got me the Lego Going Merry set, and the other set was Shanks. And this is a gift from my mom. If it hasn't dawned on you that I am one of you, I am one of you. I am gonna meet you at the finish line when this story ends. When my guy becomes the king. When he finds the One Piece, and when this story comes to a close, it's gonna be one of those memes where it's like, you know what? Span of hundreds of millions of years, I got to live in the timeline where I witnessed One Piece end. That is where we are. And that is the entire One Piece Egghead set. If you liked the video, liked hearing me yap about the concepts, like getting a little behind the scenes on the development, please like the video. If you want to see more videos like this one, please feel free to subscribe. Hit the bell if you want to see when my next video drops. And please comment, what other pops What other characters would you like to see done up in a Funko Pop Premium fashion? Because the Pop Premiums I am just loving so much. Like if you have seen my like Inktober statues, this is my outlet. Be able to design figures at that caliber through using the Pop Premium method, Deluxe, even sometimes Pop Plus, if Funko lets me. Love you guys. Love you, Funko. Thank you again for letting me always yap about these pop figures. I love making them, and I am signing out. I will see you on the next video. Peace.